Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another amazing episode on the Unleashing Potentials podcast. I'm your host, Bernadette, and joining me today is Chef Dennis. How are you?
Great. Always say, blessed and highly favored. Listen,
Mm,
know that God woke me up today with this fire constantly, the fire to serve Him, to do His will, do what He has for me and my life and my family.
mm,
And so I am blessed to be here with you guys.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. Where about are you tuning in from?
I'm in New Jersey. I actually work in New York City. So I just got off work not too long ago, and I'm here with you guys and full of energy right now. Yes,
That's
yes.
awesome. That's really cool. Thank you so much for taking the time to come on the podcast today. I understand that you are also a podcaster. Tell us more about your podcast and tell us more about you.
Okay. Yes, my podcast is From the Battle to the Glory. It's a faith-based podcast where we have conversations with different guests, and we really dive into, our walk, our journey with the Lord, how God has blessed each one of us in a different way, because we all have different journeys. And so when I have guests come on, they tell me their testimony, and we just dive in different conversations. It's not a debate. It's not an argument. We all are in agreement, but we do have different journeys. So we express it differently, and we share it with the viewers. We share it with people, and we very transparent there, open. And well, like I said, everybody's opinion counts. Everybody's opinion we respect. And so when we have guests, we haven't had any guests that's not in agreement, but we allow, if you're not agreeing with what we say, it's okay, because guess what? That's part of the growing process. And so what we do it From the Battle to the Glory is have definitely, conversation about the Bible, not about the Bible, about life, about the world, what's going on. It's nothing negative what we do there. It's all positive, it's all enlightenment, encouragement, and just trying to give some type of sense to the people that don't know who Christ is, to get to know Him, to
Mm,
get a relationship with Him. And some people come and they might not want it right now, because it might not be in the season for them to receive God at that moment, because they're going through something and they can't see it right now, so they blind. And that's the podcast. But now about me, I mean, I have 5 kids. They're all grown in college. I have 5 grandchildren. The oldest is 31 years old. Down to my baby girl, she's about to be 21. Baby son he's going to be 23, and he's getting ready to graduate out of college. And I have a beautiful wife who's a minister, and she's lovely. And so, that's a little bit about my story. I do have my own business, Three Course Catering. I do catering on the side. I am work a full-time position, sous chef in New York City at the Marriott. And so I've been there about 18 years, going on 19 years this year coming up. It'll be 19 years I've been with them. I've been cooking for about 27 years, moving around, traveling. And it's been a lovely, lovely job, lovely career, meeting so many different people all over the world. And just that the food industry allows me to connect with people, not only on the podcast aspect, but just general conversation, because I deal with a service that I service people with food. And so, just being able to talk to them. And it's not always about God. It's just having a regular, normal conversation. But, the key to having that conversation is that me having God in my life, knowing how to speak with Him, you
mm,
know, at a moderate tone sometimes. Because sometimes you can have nasty guests and you still have to be humble. You still have to have compassion. And
yeah.
so in that, if I didn't have God in my life, I don't even know where I would be. No, I'm so
Wow.
serious.
Yeah. 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 I believe you. Thank you so much for sharing. I love that you bring food and podcasting and your faith together. It's like you're feeding people the word through your podcast, through your passion. and through your experiences. I'd love to get to know you a bit more deeper, if I may. Tell me, what are some challenges earlier in your life that has made you the man that you are today?
No, because I was just talking to my co-host, Lady T, about this, and so it's crazy that you bring it up, and this is just going to come out the way it's supposed to. And the one thing, when I look back in my life, the one thing I look at both of my parents is that they both were disobedient. So the challenging for me was being disobedient. And why I say that is because, they would tell me something, don't do this, and what I would go and do the opposite. Even when it came down to having my first child, everything that my mom's told me not to do, I did. And it was for my bet, it was for me to better me, but I didn't listen. And so in my early adulthood, childhood, I struggled with that. I struggled with that. And that's why now in my in my ministry, I work on teaching people how to allow God to minister to you in a spiritual aspect. And if they don't have a relation, that's why it's important to have one. And so you can allow God to talk to you. And so that was one of my struggles growing up. Just being disobedient and just out there because they kept me in church all the time. No, I'm serious. Oh, listen, church in the morning, church at night. We didn't just have church on Sunday. We had church on Sunday in the day, at night. We had Bible study Tuesdays and Thursday. We had shut-ins.
Yeah.
Okay. So when I got to an adulthood, I just ran loose. I was like, man, y'all kept me from all this. I was
Yeah.
just doing everything. And so that's where, at not only discipline, my struggle was rebellious. I was rebellious. And so being that I was rebellious, guess what? Once I got free, I got a taste of the real world. I was like, man, forget God at that moment. I was like, man, I'm going to do
Yeah.
this. I'm going to party. I'm going to drink. I'm
Yeah.
having sex. But,
Yeah.
the good thing about it is that a seed was sowed in me in my life. And that was my parents and my grandparents that they kept us, it kept us in church. And so that we can have that relationship, so we can have it. And so, always God was always covering me, even in the midst of me out there drinking and partying. He still was there because you know what thing stuck out on me all the time is that they always called me church boy. They say you don't belong to the church boy. What you doing here? They's like, nah, you a church boy. What you doing in here? The women used to say this all the time to me too. I'd be like, what? I'm styling just like y'all styling. Nah, they was like, you do not belong here. So that also, hovered over my life as a young adult from a teenager. It's always there. It's like, yo, you a nerd. So I was a nerd. I was a church boy. Those are the two things because my parents sent us to school with dress clothes. So we wasn't fashionable. So when I got into the real world, look, I was like, look, I'm gonna have everything that I want.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was sneakers, clothes, fashion. I bought it all because I was deprived of that as a child. But I'm glad that they did that because now that I'm older and wiser, I know that all those things, materialist things, don't mean anything. And
Mm.
so those are the two things that I struggle as a child
Yeah.
to a young adult, disobedience and rebellious. And
Mm.
so now when I look back in my life, I'm encouraging others not to do that. And the reason why is because the outcome may not be what you want it to be. Because we make bad choices, bad decisions when you have a rebellious spirit, when you have a disobedient spirit. It brings you to a place where now you got to go through it and you're like, man, I didn't know this. So that's why I encourage people not to be rebellious, not to be disobedient, because disobedience comes with a penalty, comes with the consequence that sometimes the consequence may be greater than our decision. And so we don't know that and we don't understand that. And so we have to really understand what it is to be obedient.
I love that. Thank you for sharing. Um, when it comes to being obedient, how do you see yourself through your kids' eyes? Do you see a little mini Dennis when you look at them or your grandkids?
Uh, well, my first, my I can explain to you. My oldest daughter, because my wife, she has three kids, but I don't call them stepkids. So I don't believe in that. So
Yeah.
my wife has three, I have two.
Yeah.
And so we're a blended family. So my two daughters, I have only two daughters.
Hmm.
My two daughters, the youngest one, I was there when she was born. I've been there since she's about to turn 21, so I'm always been there. So I've really had a life experience with her. And so when I look at her and then I look at me and I say, man, some of the things that she's doing, I did to my parents. Not the disobedience,
Yeah.
but the rebellious part.
Yeah.
So that might be something that I have to work on. I know that because I'm working on it, just having those conversations with those hard conversations with her. I do have those with her. And so I definitely pray for her because somebody prayed for me. And so the prayers of my grandparents, the prayers of my parents, they really prayed for me. They
Mm.
intercede for me because that's why I'm the man I am. So I definitely have to do the same thing for my daughter and
Yeah.
pray that God, come into her life in the time that, is appointed for her. And so that's the only thing about my little one is
Yeah.
um is that just the rebellious part.
Mm.
I won't say the disobedience. I don't really see
Yeah.
that. But the rebellious, yes. Because we tell her stuff, oh, you can't do this. And she's like, well, you don't understand. What you mean? I don't understand. I grew up with you. So I'm grow I wasn't old. I was young. I was 20 years old. So I grew with you. So
Yeah.
everything that you would experience, I experienced with you. So I saw everything. Like, I was right there. So it wasn't nothing I didn't see that I don't understand. I understand. And so
Yeah.
that's the point. That's where we're at right now, me and her. She's like, you
Mhm.
don't understand that. I do understand.
Yeah.
Because I'm
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Other than that, then let me be honest and transparent.
Hmm.
Also, now I was poor with finance,
Mm.
so I wasn't a big saver, and I had to learn that the hard way. And so, yes, she's a big spender. Yes, I make good, great. God has blessed me with a great career. Yes, I do
Mhm.
make a lot of money, but doesn't mean that I was a good steward with my money. And so she has that too. And so I'm working on that, and it's hard for me because she's a little spoiled. And so, nah, yeah,
Yeah.
she is.
Yeah.
She's like kind of spoiled. And so I have to work on it. And I tell her, you gotta have money saved up for the rainy
Mhm.
day. And so,
Yeah.
other than that, she's a great kid, great
Mhm.
child.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she's growing to be a lovely woman. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Talk to us more about your career in the food industry.
well, I moved around a lot early in my career, just to get the experience. So I worked in different places from town pubs to hotels to golf clubs to personal catering. And the one the one thing that stood out on everything is that I realized that I was always watched because of what I stood for. My integrity, but not only my integrity, my relationship with God, it always was there. They'd seen that in me. And so just to be able to stand in the storm with some of my enemies. I gotta say it like that because they didn't believe the same thing I believe. They were very argumentative. This is in my career.
Mhm.
And just being able to endure that. And so in that journey of in my career is I had to learn how to be humble.
Mm.
God, that was one thing that God was real. He had me said, listen, I don't want nothing else from you but
Mhm.
from this right here. This journey, you got to be humble. And
Mm.
so that I'm so like that was the main thing.
Yeah.
He wanted me to be humble, humble enough to understand like you can't know everything and
Mhm.
tell everybody. So you have to be humble. You have to be humble enough to say, you know what? I didn't know that. Can you show me that? Or can you
Yeah.
teach me? And some people don't want to have you know, coming to like it's like in other words, somebody might say you begging. It's not that. It's that
Mm.
I really want to seek out more knowledge. And so I have to ask,
Yeah.
God, send me the right people. And so some people don't like to do that. And that's why I said humble. And look, when you wrong, wrong, you got to be humble to say, look, I'm wrong.
Mm,
I apologize. And that's what he wanted me to craft that. That was something he wanted me to work on. And now look at me. When I'm wrong, I go deep. I said, look, I'm sorry, I was wrong. I didn't know. You know what? Now I'm to the point right now is like I really gotta think before I speak
mm,
because I might say the wrong thing. I know that, the things that come out of our mouths are important because guess what? You can't take them back.
yeah. Yeah.
Never could take your words back. You might take, God says forgive, but once you say it,
It's out.
it's out. You
Yeah.
can't you can't retrieve that back. So you have to be mindful what you say and how you say it. And so that is definitely part of my journey with my career. Do I love cooking? Yes, I love it with a passion. I love Christ first, then
Mhm.
I love my wife, and then I love the food. I love
Yeah.
cooking.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love to see the smiles on all of my guests, all of the people that I feed. It brings me great joy to see that they enjoy my food.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so that's something I would tell people all the time is that whenever you decide to go into a job or a career, have a passion for it because it comes easy. You're going to have your ups and your downs, but the most important part is loving it, loving what you do, enjoying what you do. And so I love what I do.
Mhm.
Like here I'm talking about it now, and it just brings great joy to be able to talk about it and talk to people on a level where I can understand them because they're
Yeah.
enjoying the food.
Mm.
And so my
Yeah.
journey with the food thing is just it,
Yeah.
it, it
Yeah.
it's amazing. Just being able to eat different cuisines, have a different taste type of taste buds that I can indulge in any cuisine and look at it and say, this was great. I would love to be able to do this cuisine
Yeah.
and work at it.
Yeah, yeah, that's amazing. I think
Yes.
food is a language that all of us speak, regardless of what you look like, where you're from. I know for me, coming from Haiti, food is how we connect. It's how we communicate. It's how we apologize, and it's how we come together and celebrate.
Yep.
Yeah.
Look, and somebody at the workplace, they always say, "Well, you always gonna have a job because you a chef." I say, "Yeah, because everybody got to eat. You got to
Yeah.
eat."
Yeah.
So I'm always gonna have a job, and that's why I looked at it too. That also, when I first started out, I didn't go to school. I went to culinary school later on, and why I went to culinary school is because I wanted more money, and so the degree it enhances my experience. And so now my demand for more pay would be, open because now I have a degree, not only a degree, I have experience. And when I went to culinary school, I already had about 15 years of experience.
Wow. Wow. That's
Fif-
amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
15 years of experience. Then I went to culinary school, got a degree, and phew, the pay went
Yeah.
The pay
Yeah.
was sky high right there. I was like, oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And so, that was the most important. That like that. I think once I finished culinary school,
Mhm.
skies was the limit.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Skies were the
amazing.
limit.
Yeah. So have you cooked for some famous people? Have you been thinking about going through, Master Chef or just those kind of reality TV shows that are focused around food?
Unfortunately, no.
No,
I'm gonna be honest with you because it takes a lot of your time. I have a
it
family.
does.
I had a family because now they grown. But in that time, because I grew up in the time where they were coming up with chefs and having competition, I couldn't
Mm,
do that. I had to provide for my family. They relied on me.
mhm,
And I wanted to be in my children's life on everything. So God's blessed me. I started at nighttime. So when I started my culinary career and journey, I
mhm,
started working at nighttime. And so
mhm.
when I started, I was able to drop my kids off to school. I wasn't able to pick them up. So that
Okay.
journey at first. And I was like, no, I'm missing eating dinner with them, watching shows with them. So then I moved on and I started working in the morning.
Mm,
And I work 5 in the morning to noon. So see, I have all the days for myself and for my kids and family at that time.
mm. Yeah.
So that was important to me, and God knew that. And so there were tests I had to pass for me to get to the next level, and the
Yeah.
level of gratitude, appreciation. But where did that come from? Me being humble.
Yeah.
I mentioned that earlier.
You did.
It,
Yeah.
being humble was the most important thing about it. Just
Mhm.
being humble.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad you bring up being humble because I want to tie it to something else, to forgiveness. Because you mentioned once something is spoken, it's out there. From a biblical perspective, tie that with forgiveness. Once it's out, how do we forgive ourselves? And how do we ask for forgiveness for the person that we hurt?
Well, so some people might not want to receive it like that, but the one thing you have to always remember when you talk about forgiveness is that you can go to the person. Your heart has to be truthfully,
Mm,
truthfully, and you tell that person, "I apologize. Have I hurt your feelings? If I made you feel some type of way, I really am." Now, if the person does not receive it, you've done your part. You
yeah,
released it.
yeah,
And that's how it comes into play. You have to understand the forgiveness is not just
mhm,
for the person, it's for yourself. Because guess what? Now you hurt somebody's feelings, and now that weighs on you as well. Because guess what? It's animosity. You rubbing each other the wrong way. But think about it. When you release that and you say, listen, forgive me because I've done you wrong. Now that burden is released from you.
yeah,
And now that it's on the other person. And so if the other person does not forgive you, it's on them.
yeah,
That weighs on them, not you. And just think about this. When we talk about forgiveness, some people don't understand it. When you think about forgiveness, think about all the things that you as the individual have not done what God wants you to do. You disobedience. You've
mm,
been on disobedience. You haven't been uh discipline in what he has for you. And guess what? God hurts. His heart hurts when you don't do what he wants you to do. And guess what? He still shows mercy. He still has grace for you.
yeah,
And
yeah,
so we have to have that for other people.
mhm,
Even in the midst of them doing us wrong, we got to have that same grace, that same mercy for them. And
yeah,
so we look at forgiveness, that's what you have to have. You have to carry that, but you have to let it go. You can't hold it because what do it do to an individual that you're not forgiving?
yeah,
It holds you captive. It
yeah,
keeps you in imprisonment
yeah,
because now you feel some type of way every time you see this person. You be like, oh, I can't stand her. Oh, I can't stand him.
mm, yeah,
Look what it does to you. It keeps you down. It doesn't hold you. It doesn't hold you up. It doesn't pour into your life.
mhm, yeah, 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 yeah. I think we forgive others for ourselves, and we can forgive ourselves for others if they make the space for us to do that.
Yeah, that too. No,
Yeah,
that's because sometimes when you really go ready to go to ask for forgiveness, they not ready to receive you at that moment. They're like, oh man, don't come here talking to me. It's nothing
yeah,
to talk about.
yeah,
It's nothing to talk about. Like I'll give you an example. So
mhm,
it's just to show you. Like this, that happened to me.
mm,
I had two recently too. Two friends.
mhm,
And so I thought they were my friends. We've been friends for a while, right? Co-workers. But
mhm,
we also hung out, watched football, got something to eat, went out with the fellas, whatever. So the two guys, they didn't get along, but they got along with me.
Mm,
They put me in the mix of their shenanigans.
mm-hmm,
And so what happens, they both approach me differently, right? And when they approach me, I felt like, wait a minute. I told you guys I don't put me in the middle. You put me in the middle. And so what happened was one of the guys, they work with me. And so one guy approached me nasty at work. Listen, if it
mm.
wasn't God in my life, this
Yeah.
person had grabbed me. They threw water on me, and I didn't say anything. I said, "Look, it's nothing to talk about,"
Mm,
because I had already knew that they were doing something they wasn't supposed to do, and
mhm,
it would hinder me. So I said, "You know what? It's nothing to talk about." And so a person asked me, "Did you forgive?" His name was Paul. Did you forgive
mhm,
him? I said, "Yeah." They
mm,
said, "Did you go to him and say I forgave him?" No, I because guess what? I didn't do anything wrong,
yeah,
but in my heart, truly, I did forgive him. Are we gonna be friends? No,
mm,
we're not gonna be friends because guess what? We've been friends all this time. You didn't respect me enough not to come to work. Call me.
mhm.
You have my number. We hang out. So you rather do it in front of people and be nasty. I didn't say
Yeah.
nothing. So when the reason why I'm saying all that is
Mhm,
because in my heart, did I really forgive him? Yes, I did. Because guess what? It happened. It's over. Now I moved on because we don't even, our alignment is not with God anyway.
mhm,
We were just friends because we played basketball, we watched sports together, and that was it. That was our relationship. That was it.
yeah.
It wasn't really nothing else. But like me serving God and being around other men of God, they didn't do that.
Mm,
Their beliefs was totally different than mine. I, I'm I have to be around other godly men. I
mhm,
have to be around because guess what? There are men in those fellowships, in those communities that are still broken that can hear from me and be healed, not by my words, by me just being the vessel, God
mm,
using me to help them come out of their brokenness. And so, because that's where it starts. It starts with the men. We are the priest of our homes. We are the kings of our homes. And guess what? If nobody comes around and teach them how to be a king, how to forgive, how to be humble,
mhm.
who's going to teach them?
Yeah.
And so I've took that torch and I hold it up high to be an encouragement to other men, not just
Mhm,
men, but women as well. But God has given me that calling on my life to
yeah.
encourage other men.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so when you say about when forgiveness, yes, I
Mhm,
have to work through that. I did, and my heart does not have no malice, no hate,
mhm,
because God does not desire us to have that in our hearts. And so I'm big on just forgiveness. I'm like, all right, I forgave you. That's it. Move on. If you
mhm.
meant to be in my life, guess what? You'll come to me and say, man, look,
Yeah.
that's silly of me. I'm sorry. And we going
Mhm,
on. We
mhm,
going on. And so like-minded think like that. So when you're around people that's like-minded,
mhm.
you're gonna get that. They're gonna be like, oh, I'm sorry. I should have did that. And boom, you're gonna move on.
Yeah, 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 I agree. Yeah, thank you for sharing. Thank you. So how do you stay in the word with your business? Because you're busy. Um, how do you spend time with God throughout
Ooh,
the busyness of life?
you gonna like this. You ready?
Yep.
You ready?
Yep.
For all your listeners, y'all ready?
I
I'm a
think we are.
worshiper. I'm a worshiper.
Mm,
So that's how I get through. I worship. When I'm at work, I'm listening to my gospel, blasting it. I'm worshiping. And guess what?
mm,
I'm singing.
mm.
So I,
Yeah.
I'm I'm singing
Mhm,
because I'm worshiping. And guess what? I always say I want to be contagious. Contagious, not in a disease way. Contagious where when something get on you, you be like, "Oh my goodness, I got it on me." Yes,
mm.
the Holy Spirit, God. That's what I want to be contagious. I want when you come in the room, you be like, "Oh my goodness, I feel the Spirit." Oh my, and that's
Yeah.
contagious because guess what? When you coming in, you be like, "Oh my goodness, y'all feel that?" And that's
Mm,
what happens. Just like
yeah.
just
Yeah.
like. the enemy, when you come in a room full of negativity, that's toxicity, what happens? That rubs you the wrong way. You like, oh my goodness, why is she looking at me like that? Because everybody in the room is toxic. Everybody in the room is in a negative space. And guess what? That rubs off on you. It's contagious.
Yeah.
Christ is contagious in a good way. Because when the joy of the Lord comes inside, guess what? Oh my goodness. It's like an overflow.
Yeah.
An overflow. It gets on everybody. And then when you say at my job, right? When
Hmm.
I'm singing, guess what? Somebody else starts singing.
Mm.
But the enemy don't like that, so he'll try to do something just to say, "Oh, I can't stand that," because I have that too when I'm at work. When I'm
Mm.
doing something, somebody don't like it. I said, "Well, listen, hey, I'm sorry to tell you, you're gonna have
Mm.
to listen to this." I said, "But guess what?" I tell him, I said, "If I had some rap on, you're gonna say the same thing. If
Mm.
I had something else on, you're gonna say the same thing. You're just not happy."
Mm.
And I am. Just think about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
They always got something to say. If it's not, if it's gospel, oh, why you gotta blast that? Why they screaming like that? Because you don't understand it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want me to help you understand? I can help you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I begin to sing. And I say it, when I sing it to where they can understand it. Because I want them to know I'm singing for love, the
Mm.
love of God. And
Yeah.
so listen, it's working because it's rubbing off on some of them.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. As we wrap up this episode, is there anything else that you'd like to share? Any questions I didn't get to ask you?
Well, I mean, listen, I hope you guys enjoy this episode, but just know this, it's about the relationship with Jesus Christ. And why I say that is because guess what? He can help you. And it's a spiritual aspect. It's a spiritual walk.
Mhm.
And that's what you have to understand. It's a spiritual walk. And so that's why you have to get in tune with the relationship with God, Jesus Christ, because guess what? In that relationship, it teaches you how to have a spiritual eye, a spiritual mindset, because you cannot look at things spiritual and natural at the same time. It's the portal to your heart. The spiritual aspect is the portal to your heart. And so the things that you watch, the things that you listen to, it feeds your soul, it feeds your mind. And so that's the importance of having the relationship. And so when you think about it, it's all about the relationship part. And it
Mhm.
is food to your soul, that relationship with God, that relationship with Jesus Christ. So I will share that with you guys. And I pray that somebody be encouraged to even seek out his face, seek out the relationship that God has and desires that we all have. And so
Mhm.
I want someone to be encouraged and know that God loves you unconditionally.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I have three questions for you.
Yes.
The first one is, what messages do you have for some men who are not fully ready to be committed to have a relationship with Christ? Maybe they're not ready because of fear, because they haven't really physically see the work that God has been doing in their lives. What are your thoughts on that?
Okay. Man, wow, this is powerful. No, 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 this is powerful. I'm about to show you why I said this is
Yeah,
powerful.
yeah.
It's because listen to this. God just put this right in my spirit right now. Just
Mm.
think about a
Mhm.
glass that's empty,
Yeah.
and you begin to pour water that has lead in it.
Mm.
You pouring the water in the glass that's empty, it has lead in it. Now, what do you have to do to get that lead out?
Mm.
You got to keep pouring water inside of that glass, and eventually the lead that's in there will come out because you constantly pouring in to that glass. That glass is you as the individual, the vessel. You keep pouring God inside. And guess what? God will filter out all the things that's not supposed to be there. And as he filter out things, that's where you're related. Because if you're broken, God will fix you. And so how do God fix you in a broken state? You got to allow God to pour into your life.
Ooh, yeah.
Pour. And like I said, just stay, like I said, if you have an empty glass, you're empty because now you're broken, but you're empty. And so when you allow God to pour into your life, all that, and it will fill up even the things that's not of God. When God pour into your life, God will push all of that out. And now you have a clear glass of water.
Mm,
And that's what God wants. He want to pour into your life.
yeah.
So all the things that's not of him, he'll push out.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have crystal clear water. And so
Mm,
that's what I would tell a man. If you're not ready, allow God to pour into your life. Allow God to put people in your life that's going to help you remove the hurt, the pain, and help you come out of darkness. Because usually when people are alone, they're in darkness.
mm,
If they don't know Christ, because sometimes there's a season where you need to be alone, and so that might not be for you. But when you're alone, that's when the enemy comes in and do all of his trickery.
yeah. Yeah.
But when you around others, that's going to encourage you, uplift you, keep you,
Mm,
positive. Guess what? God is beginning to pour into your life.
mm,
So you don't need to be alone. You need to be in a community where people are going to do that, encourage you time for time. And guess what? It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to be vulnerable to the point of understanding I need help.
yeah.
I need wisdom.
Yeah.
I need understanding. And how do you get that? You get that understanding by allowing people, the right people, to
Mm-hmm.
come into your life, to pour into your life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. My next question for you, where can people find you?
You can find me on YouTube at the @ Chef Dennis 32. That is where my podcast will be. Then also you can find me on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
This is the business part. 3-Course Catering 3235. And that's all one word. 3-Course Catering 3235. And then you also can find me at Instagram, Chef Dennis 3235. And then Facebook, Chef Dennis Porterfield. These are all the platforms you can find me. Oh, let's not forget TikTok. You can find me in TikTok too. Chef Dennis
Yeah.
32 TikTok. And these are the TikTok is only for promotion.
Yeah.
I really don't get on TikTok because what I realize is that it's live, you go live, but it's not recorded.
Mm,
So once you go live, you can't go back and retrieve it. So I do a lot of my promotions on TikTok. But Instagram is both is the business part and the personal. So you'll see a lot of podcasts. You'll see a lot of my personal life on Chef Dennis 3235. 3-Course Catering, you'll see more business, but you'll see the podcast as well, but more business.
yeah.
So and then Facebook is about the same. It's you might see personal, and then you might see a little business. So Facebook is a little open for everything.
Yeah.
But those are my social medias where you can find me at,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
that's about it. And I hopefully that you guys will come on and check my stuff out, check my workout. You're gonna love my character, you're gonna love my personality because I have a lot of energy for God, and
Yeah.
I love to laugh, and I love to see people smile. That's one thing that God has given me is
Yeah.
I'm always telling people, listen, why you frowning?
Mm, yeah.
Smile. And they're like, what you mean? Why you gotta no listen, you alive.
Mm,
You're able to use your limbs.
yeah.
Not only that, just think about there are some other people in the world that don't have the same opportunity that you have. So be thankful.
Yeah.
So it's something to smile about each and every day that you get up.
Yeah.
Because somebody don't get up.
Yeah. 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 I love that. Thank you. Thank you. My last question for you is, what is the meaning of life for you?
The meaning for life for me is living for God. I want to live to do his will. I want to do the will of God. His purpose for me is to share the gospel, discipleship, stewardship, and having a love, having a zeal for that. And just because I always say this, joy is everlasting. Happiness is temporary. And so when you have joy, you have everlasting joy is from the Lord. And so does that desire,
Mhm.
listen, even and I was just talking to, I had put a comment in somebody's email, and I want to say this is that when you understand the joy of the Lord, even in death, you have to have joy because guess what? Know that God sent his only begotten son
Mhm.
for a sacrifice
Yeah.
for us to be redeemed and live through sin,
Mhm. Mhm.
live through sin. And know this, that's joy. So that if that doesn't bring you great joy, I don't know what does. Because knowing that he died for us,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
us to live, for us to be in sin,
Mm.
do it and still have his mercy and grace over our life,
Yeah.
that brings me great joy.
Yeah.
Even and I say this to encourage somebody because you may have lost a loved one, but know this, it's the process
Mm.
of knowing who Christ is. It's
Yeah.
the process of knowing that God sent his only begotten son. So death is a part of life. We have to go through it. And so, yes, you have to mourn, but know this, that God says, I got
Yeah.
you, got you.
Yeah. Mm.
So mourn, but know that God got you. So today you might mourn, wake up the next day and say, you know what, God, I love you. I thank you because you gave me another opportunity to do it over again. You gave me an opportunity to say, you know what, I love you. I
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
I worship you.
Yeah. Mm. So powerful. It's so powerful. Well, Chef Dennis, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. Thank you for speaking the word of God into existence because I know for sure what you've shared resonates with me. It's like at times you were speaking to me directly, and I know your words will bless somebody. And I encourage people to check out your podcast. And I'm looking forward to coming on your podcast soon so I can share my journey and so I can see the amazing work that you're doing.
Oh man, we cannot wait to have you over there from the listen. I'm gonna tell you right now, you definitely gonna be smiling. So get your cheekbones ready, cause look, that's what we do
Yeah.
over there. It's nothing but joy, it's nothing but smiles. And look, we have a great time over there. So definitely when you come on over there with us, you
Yeah.
definitely gonna have a good time. And the spirit is going to be moving as well as you're going to be fed. And what I
Mm.
mean by that, for those that don't understand what fed means, that's a spiritual thing. I gotta say that because I'm mindful of things. Some people not there yet, and so when I say fed, it's a spiritual thing. What I mean by that is that remember the things that we watch, the things that we hear is food to our soul, is food to our heart, and so God wants the heart. He don't care nothing about how your house or your car or your job, the heart.
Mm.
And
I
so
love that.
we
Thank you
encourage you.
so much. Thank you.
Yes.